All right, what is up, beautiful souls and fellow health enthusiasts? Welcome to yet another fabulous episode of the Faith Fitness Joy podcast. I am your host, Rochelle Renee, and today I'm diving into this viral TikTok trend. Some of you may have seen it. I've only started seeing it in, I don't know, maybe over the weekend or so, something like that. So it's some of the creators that are doing this or have been talking about it have dubbed it Ricezempic like Ozempic, but because of what it is, which you'll understand in a second, they're calling it Ricezempic. And this is due to its alleged weight loss benefit. And it's basically rice water with lemon or lime juice in it that you drink first thing in the morning. And that's, like I said, that's essentially what it is. But this simple thing has gained a lot of popularity and a lot of time because there's been a couple or a few different creators that have talked about it, and they've actually got some pretty astounding results, I must say, from doing this in fairly short amount of time. So naturally, I was curious, being that I am obsessed with all things weight loss, fitness, body transformation, health and wellness. So I decided to kind of start digging on it as soon as I started hearing about it to see if there's any kind of scientific evidence behind this or to back it up. So let's find out. So what I'm going to be talking about in today's episode is I'm going to first walk you through what this rice water or Ricezempic trend is. I'm going to tell you what the recipe is for it. And then I'm going to walk you through some of the research that I have looked at around this that is, letting us know, kind of giving us an idea of if there's anything to this, if this could actually be something helpful to add to what you are doing in the way of weight loss or body transformation. But before I begin with the rest of today's episode, a couple housekeeping things that I don't want to forget. Number one, if you like this podcast and you find it helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me out if you do that. And share it with others who you think would enjoy the podcast as well or find value in it. Also, if you find value in this podcast, contributions and support are greatly appreciated. It really helps me a lot. So I'll include a link for where you can leave a contribution in the comments on the Facebook Live as well as in the episode description. That really helps me out. And then last but not least, I wanted to ask you all for help in reaching a current goal that I have to reach 1,000 subscribers on my podcast and on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is _Faith Fitness Joy _. This is the third channel now that I've had to kind of start with. My other channel was attacked and suddenly and unexpectedly taken down. So I've been in the process of rebuilding it. And so I would really love your help in getting it back up. And if if you wouldn't mind subscribing, if you enjoy the content. So those are the housekeeping things I wanted to share. And without further ado, we will get into today's episode. So again, today we are talking about Ricezempic, which is this viral trend. And today's episode is episode 121, and it's called Rice Water for Weight Loss. Exploring the viral TikTok trend. So, as you know, if you have been listening to this podcast for a while, or if you read my blog, I discuss all things weight loss, body transformation, exercise, mindset, inner healing, and spiritual growth. And I've also tried all the things when it comes to weight loss because, quite frankly, it has always been really difficult for me to lose weight from as long back as I can remember. I was fairly skinny kid until I was about 9 or 10. And then I just kind of started getting on the chubbier side. And ever since then, it's just been like this journey where, even when I do all the things you're, supposed to do or follow a diet to a T with exercise and all of that, I've just always had more of what it just seems like it's more of an uphill battle for me to lose weight. It takes longer for me to lose weight. I tend to have to do extra and go harder than the average person might have to do. So as a result of all that, of course, I've been on this sort of lifelong pursuit of, reaching this goal and, achieving kind of my own personal goals for my fitness. And I've talked about that a lot on this podcast. as well as in my blog. So I'm kind of my own guinea pig when it comes to all of this, which is how I know so much about all of these different, diets and approaches and other things related to health and nutrition and the impacts on our body and all of that. I have been studying exercise, fitness, nutrition, and weight loss for over 30 years. In addition to having a background in public health, my master's degree is in public health, and I actually worked in the public health field in a completely different, well, not completely different, but a different space for over 20 years. So anyway, I've obviously been studying various aspects of health and mental health because my undergrad is in psychology. So all of these kind of things have always been things that I've been fascinated by and that I've just studied a lot. So, but I digress. So back to kind of, my own journey with trying to lose weight and having tried all these different things. About 7 years ago, I was in this coaching program and I lost 55 pounds over the course of about a year, not quite a year. Let me try to think back here. So I lost like I think I lost an initial 30 pounds within like the first 8 months. And then I kind of lost the rest of it slowly over time, and then I kept it off. So it was over the course of a year that I lost that 55 pounds. And I've maintained that same healthy lifestyle ever since. So I've continued with weightlifting, steady state cardio, and eating, following kind of this whole food, fresh food approach of eating that I've talked about as well on this podcast episode. But I moved from my lifelong home in California to Montana almost 2 years ago. I've never lived in a different state. I was born and raised in Sacramento. I'm 45 years old right now. So when I moved, this was a big, huge change. It was a very huge change. While it was very exciting, and overall, I think it's been a great experience. At the same time, that is no small thing. It is a huge, massive change. And so there's a lot of things that come with that, like stress, right? So at the time that we moved, I was following macro tracking, and I was also avoiding a fairly long list of foods because I was doing this sort of elimination diet thing. I was in another fitness program, coaching program thing at the time. And part of that program was to take a food test to see what foods you're sensitive to and then not eat those foods. So I had a pretty long list of things that I was not eating in addition to doing macro tracking and following the workouts in that program. The other thing about this program was it was very emphatic on the weightlifting side, but not so much on the cardio. And so the big thing with it was, make sure you're doing your weightlifting workouts, following the food, but cardio is not really necessary, and that, doing too much of it could potentially be kind of counter to your workout efforts. And there's some truth to that, but there's also a lot of caveats around that. And the short story is I found out the hard way that for me, that is not true. I have to have cardio incorporated and included in what I'm doing. If I don't include cardio, I will start to gain weight. It doesn't matter what else I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I'm following my food properly. And I'm also doing the weightlifting. I have to have the cardio for whatever reason. My body just let's say my body's very efficient at storing, and it's very resistant to releasing excess body fat. So that was something I kind of found out the hard way. So even though I was continuing to follow this plan for about a year during and after the move, I gradually started to notice my body was changing. So the weight wasn't changing much, like the scale was kind of staying the same, but that's also sort of been the case for me for a while, and that's a whole other story. But I was losing some of my tone from my muscles that from my workouts, and I was gaining more fat, even though I was doing all this stuff. So I kind of started to wonder, like, maybe it's hormonal, like maybe because I'm over 40, and at the time I would have been 43 about when this had started happening. So I kind of thought, well, maybe it has something to do with that, and I decided to try a supplement that balances hormones, or claims to balance hormones. It also claims to help with weight loss. And I found out the hard way that that was complete garbage, and that I ended up gaining 20 pounds in a month, which is crazy. That one thing I can say is, even though I have challenges with losing the weight, I have never gained weight that fast in my life, except for when I went off low carb diet. which is one of the reasons I do not recommend that approach. So I stopped that supplement immediately as soon as I realized what was happening. It took me a second to kind of add up, like, what is this? What is happening here? And so that's when I got rid of that supplement, and I will never take that again. And so eventually I lost the 20 pounds that I gained from supplement. It took me about 8 months to do that. And I did it by ditching the program I was doing as well. And I went back to what I knew worked best for me, from past experience and what I've been doing for, overall about 10 years now, or no, about 7 years now, less this, year that I was doing this other program. And this is also the nutrition program I share. I've shared on the podcast, and it's also what I've included in my own coaching program, because I know it's effective and I know it works. So anyway, I went back to that, and then I went back to incorporating cardio with my workouts and making sure I was, continuing to include that and doing my workouts the way that I had been doing them when I was getting really good results and maintaining the results that I had achieved. So anyway, I've gotten back to where I was, but I'm finding it's still really difficult to, back to where I was before this craziness with the supplement and some of what I gained when we moved out here, but I haven't completely gotten back to where I was before moving. And despite all this stuff that I'm doing. So you can imagine it's super frustrating, right? So anyway, when I learned about this and I saw this trend on TikTok, I thought, well, shit, like, what the heck? I might as well give it a try, right? I mean, what have I got to lose? So anyway, that was kind of what led me to like diving into this topic. Because again, while I thought maybe this was a hormonal thing, I'm starting to think that this is actually potentially has more to do with stress, which makes sense because I've basically been moving through what feels like one gigantic never-ending tower moment ever since I started planning to move from California. So it's really been almost 3 years of kind of being in this sort of transitory state and of change. And, as you can imagine, and I'm sure all of us can appreciate, you make a plan, you think things are going to go a certain way, and then it rarely goes that way in actual life. So all kinds of things have happened, or didn't happen the way that I thought, that have ended up causing, a pretty good amount of stress for me. And even though I do all of these various techniques to manage stress as part of my daily routine, it's still very much there in the background, and it's some pretty substantial stressors that I'm navigating right now. So I'm kind of starting to think that that might be what's going on. So when I saw this trend on TikTok and some of the results that people are saying that they've gotten from doing this, I thought, well, what do I lose except this weight that I want to get off? So that's what I've been doing, or that's what led me to looking into this. And so I've done some research, and I've started kind of adding this in the mornings. I'm only on my second day, so I don't really have anything exciting to report in terms of whether this appears to be working or not. But I am going to keep you guys updated. So I will continue to share kind of the progress and the results as I go along. But let's get into what this trend is and what research says about it, in case you want to explore it for yourself and see if it's something you want to give a try. So, okay, what is this Ricezempic trend, which again is a term coined by one of these creators, and I apologize, I don't know who the tag names or the channel names for some of these people that I've seen talking about this on TikTok. There's one is a man, and then there's 2 women that I've seen talking about it. There may be others though that I'm unaware of or just haven't come across yet. So the Ricezempic is basically drinking rice water with lime or lemon first thing every morning on an empty stomach. Some of the creators who've been sharing about it are getting really, like I said, impressive results. I mean, results I've never heard of. One woman that's been doing it has lost 11 pounds in the past week, or within 7 days of doing it. So I'm not sure when she started and when, the video made its way to my personal feed. But that's astounding. I mean, even 5 pounds in a week is pretty hard to do. So You know, who knows what might be going on, because I know a lot of times, you know, we're losing water weight and things like that. So either way, that is very substantial weight loss in a week. A little more about this. So rice water is, you know, this starchy liquid that's left after you soak or boil rice. And the traditional remedy for this has been used in various cultures for its health and beauty benefits, right? So there's a few different cultures that have actually been using this for centuries, if not millennia. And again, it's because it has a lot of benefits for your health, but also with like for your skin and your hair. So when it's combined with juice of a lemon or a lime, it, you know, it kind of makes this sort of refreshing drink that you can have in the morning. And like I said, I had already been, well, I just started doing this 2 days ago, but part of the reason I kind of was like, well, this wouldn't be too hard for me to just add to what I'm doing is because I've already been drinking hot water, lemon juice, and fresh ginger every morning for a couple months now. Sorry, so I've been doing that for a couple months. That's just kind of become my normal morning routine. And so I thought, well, I could just keep making that and just add the rice to the mix and see if there's anything to this whole thing. So that's kind of what I've been doing. But I'm gonna walk you through how you make this miraculous, let's see, weight loss drink. So the recipe, now this is according to the folks that have been sharing about this on TikTok. When I looked it up online, it's slightly different than this, but not much. So it just comes down to ratios. So the ingredients is half a cup of rice, white or brown, doesn't matter. About a cup of hot water, or basically about double the amount of rice. I use enough to like more than cover the rice, and then a little bit more than that. So, and then you want juice of half of a lemon or a lime. Okay, so then the way you make it is pretty simple. Now I have one of those kettles that you just push the button and it'll boil the water for you. So that's, you know, a super fast way you can do it. Basically, you want to boil some water, and then you're going to pour the water over the rice and let it soak for 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes. And then strain the rice into a cup of water, or into a cup, sorry, and throw the rice out. And then you're going to add the juice of your lemon or your lime to this rice water. And then you're going to give it a little bit of a stir and drink it fresh on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. So I really, like I said, I've only been doing this for 2 days, and I've just been doing, so when I make it, because I've already been doing lemon and ginger water, I just throw my ginger root in with the rice, and then put the hot water on the top, and then strain it. And then you add the lemon or lime juice at the end, and I mean, it still tastes kind of no different than this morning tea I've been drinking anyway. So I like it. I didn't, you know, I thought it tasted fine, and it was, you know, it's kind of a nice wake up in the morning drink. So let's get into some of the potential health benefits behind this. The first one is hydration and electrolytes. So rice water contains essential minerals like potassium, magnesium, and phosphorus, all of which are very helpful in maintaining electrolyte balance and hydrating the body. The second thing is it helps with digestion. So there are starches in this rice water, as you can imagine, and they act as prebiotics, apparently. So this can help with supporting growth of beneficial gut bacteria and improving digestion. So that's one of the potential effects that could also be resulting in weight loss for some of these folks that are getting these results. The third thing is that this has antioxidants and vitamin C. So the lemon or lime juice obviously adds a good dose of vitamin C and antioxidants. These boost our immune system, of course. It helps reduce inflammation. It also promotes healthy skin. And then the fourth thing is the weight loss support, which of course is what led me to really like digging into this in the first place. So I didn't find much in the way of evidence, or like a large body of evidence or anything that was like super obvious. I had to really dig around and like piece things together and read different research articles and studies that I could find, and different blog posts, and like a bunch of different things. Basically, I kind of had to look and find. But I did find some information that shed some light, and I did find information that I think does support the possibility that there is some weight loss benefit to this. So the first thing is that rice water has soluble fibers such as oligosaccharides, I believe I say that. And these aid in digestion and they help you feel full longer. So some of the stuff I came across, they recommended that you're drinking this like a half an hour before everything you eat, in contrast to this TikTok trend, which is just drink it once in first thing in the morning. So anyway, that was another thing that came up when I was searching through all of this. The second thing is that some studies found rice water may aid in weight loss due to something called inositol, which is a compound in the rice water that actually could be helpful in regulating the metabolism and improving insulin sensitivity. So this kind of supports the catchy name that TikTok creators have coined, which is Ricezempic. Now, I don't know that they knew that, but because I think it's kind of a play on, Ozempic, which is a drug that is for diabetes. And people have been getting weight loss results from it as well. So, but like I said, because of what some of this research I came across is suggests that there's a benefit with regard to insulin sensitivity, there does seem to be something to that. And then the third thing is that the ties to and uses in Ayurveda. So if you're not familiar with Ayurveda, it's in a nutshell, a very, very small nutshell, and oversimplifying probably, is an ancient holistic healing system that originates in India. There's in Ayurveda, there's also what is called Ayurvedic spiced rice water. And this has been in use for centuries as well. And it's essentially the same idea, except it incorporates other spices into this mix, such as ginger and cinnamon, which are both known to have metabolic boosting benefits. So that's another thing you could consider in adding, if you're considering doing the rice water and seeing how it works for you. Adding things like ginger and cinnamon can also be helpful. Okay, so let's get into some of the scientific evidence. Is there any? What out there supports kind of this notion that this, Ricezempic trend helps with losing weight? So like I said, there's specific research on rice water and lemon combined there's not much. It's very limited. But there were a lot of studies on, rice water and lemon or citrus juice in and of itself, right? So lemons, limes, they have very similar, I guess, properties, if you will, and health benefits. So that's why you can kind of use either one. So the first thing is the rice water. Like, what does the research talk about with regard to rice water? Well, there's a study in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry that found that rice water contains bioactive peptides with antioxidant properties. So what the heck are bioactive peptides, you might be wondering? Well, according to the National Institutes of Health, they are a group of biological molecules that are normally buried within the structure of parent proteins and then become active after the cleavage of the protein. So protein cleavage is basically when the bonds of amino acids in the protein break down. And after doing some more digging about that, I found that this is likely due simply to soaking the rice in the water, because that's going to start breaking it down, which is releasing the starches and changing some of those amino acid compounds, resulting in this, where did it go? Bioactive peptides, right? But since I was also looking up with regard to the lemon and the lime juice, the citrus also has a similar effect and will do the same thing in terms of cleaving proteins. So I would think this would further aid by adding the lemon or lime juice. It further aids in this process, which this process or these bioactive peptides, according to this study I found from National Institute of Health, does seem to have something to do with a number of health benefits, including reducing obesity and a number of other things. So to put all of this in more simple terms, soaking the rice in and of itself results in releasing these bioactive peptides, but adding the citrus juice would further this as well. So that seems to be kind of how it's working. I would add that this study I found by NIH goes on to posit that the bioactive peptides could have other applications, including the following, that I'm quoting this from the research article: antimicrobial, antihypertensive, in other words, reducing blood pressure, antioxidant activities, blood lipid lowering effects, opioid role. So actually what they found as a side note is that there's potential pain relieving effects of this. And then anti-obesity and ability to bind minerals, anti-diabetic, and anti-aging effects. So just as an aside, this was really a fascinating research study that I came across. And being a research nerd myself, you know, I dove into it and like read through it and everything. And there's a lot in there. So it's worth checking out if you want to check it out. I will spare you all of the details of the study beyond what I just shared, but one of the things that's important to note is that in this study, they were actually exploring various types of proteins. So from sources like animal meat to plants and marine protein sources. So they were looking at a variety of different types of proteins and what happens and how these bioactive peptides are released from the various types of protein sources. So it wasn't like they were necessarily studying rice alone. But I came across this and looking it up, and rice being a plant, of course. So, you know, this is still relevant. So the study article is called Bioactive Peptides, Synthesis, Sources, Applications, and Proposed Mechanism of Action. If you want to check it out, again, it's from the National Institutes of Health. So then the lemon and lime juice. So research from nutrition research highlighted the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties of citrus fruits. So citrus fruits are also very high in vitamin C, obviously. And obviously vitamin C is super high or super beneficial for our immune system, but it also has been shown to boost metabolism and reduce belly fat, in addition to its other, you know, more well-known health benefits. So there does seem to be something to this combination of rice water and citrus juice that is probably worth further exploring in research. And who knows, now that this has become kind of this viral trend and more people are trying it out, it may lead to them doing more research on it or looking further into it. So like I said, based on looking at what I've looked at and reading the different things I came across, and I spent a few days looking at all kinds of different information that I could find about it, I really do think there might be something to this whole Ricezempic trend, because, you know, yeah, it very well could aid in weight loss, and it seems to be doing just that for these TikTok creators that I've come across. I believe the gentleman, within 5 days, I think he said he had lost 7 pounds, if memory serves. And another woman that I saw that was talking about it had said she lost 12 pounds up to the point in time that she was talking about it. So, and then this other woman that shared the recipe, she's lost 11 pounds in 7 days. So all three of these people that I came across have had pretty impressive results from doing this. So it'll be curious to see what happens with them over time. And like I said, I've decided to give it a try just to see if it will help me kind of get unstuck and move forward again. So I'll keep you posted on that. But not only may it aid in weight loss, drinking rice water with lemon or lime in the morning could also offer several other health benefits. So regardless of if it works for weight loss, there are other health benefits to be had from doing this. That includes hydration and digestive support, because it does seem to have prebiotic effects to it. It's antioxidant boost from the citrus juice. Now, again, while more research is probably necessary to really like understand what exactly is at play and why this might be working and how, this simple little drink that you can add to your morning routine has health benefits that are probably worth giving a whirl. And as always, listen to your body, consult your physician or your healthcare professional if you have any concerns, if you're unsure whether it's something you should give a try based on your own, you know, health situation. But that's what I found about it. So have any of you tried this Ricezempic trend yet? And if so, I would love to hear from you and what your results have been, what your experience has been with it. Or are you considering it now that you've heard all this? And what are you thinking? Do you think you're going to give it a try? So again, share your thoughts and experiences and comments in the comment section, because again, I would love to hear what you think, whether you're going to give it a try or if you've tried it and what your results have been so far. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow if you're not already for more health tips and trends. And if you like this podcast and you feel led to support it, click that link in the comments on the Facebook Live or in the episode description to make a contribution and support the show. All right, as always, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep pursuing faith, fitness, and joy. And I will see you all in the next episode.